Okay, picture this. You're 21, you're a student at Cambridge, and you just walked out of a hospital after being told you have a rare disease with no cure, one that's going to slowly shut your whole body down. The doctors gave him 2 years, maybe less. He lived for 55 more. That student was Stephen Hawking. Yeah, that Hawking. The disease was ALS, motor neuron disease, and here's the part they don't put on the inspirational posters. Right after the diagnosis, he fell apart, genuinely, seriously depressed. Which, honestly, who wouldn't be? Why finish a PhD you might not live to use? But then, something strange happened. As his body kept shutting down, legs first, then his hands, eventually, almost everything, his mind went the exact opposite direction. Meanwhile, the rest of us lose our minds trying to do taxes. This guy couldn't hold a pen anymore, so he just started solving physics in his head. Some of the hardest problems in the entire field. No paper, no pen, just his head. In 1974, he proposed something that sounds like a flat contradiction. Stay with me. Black holes are famous for one thing. Nothing escapes them. Not light, not matter, nothing. Hawking said, actually they leak, slowly, over unimaginable stretches of time. But they do. They call it Hawking radiation now, and it's still one of the biggest ideas in physics. Not bad for a guy who couldn't write it down. Mid-1980s, severe pneumonia. It hit him so hard he lost the ability to speak. Permanently. Doctors gave his family an impossible choice. Let him go, or do an emergency procedure that would save his life, but take his voice forever. They chose to save him, so for a while, and I mean this literally, he talked by raising his eyebrows. Someone would point at letters on a card, one at a time, and he'd lift an eyebrow when they hit the right one. Imagine trying to argue with your spouse like that. Eventually, engineers built him something better. A machine that let him pick words with a twitch of his cheek muscle, which a synthesizer would then read out loud in a flat, robotic American accent, which, by the way, he was British. Here's the part that gets me. As tech improved, better, smoother, more natural-sounding voices became available to him. He said no. Every time, kept the same robotic voice for the rest of his life. That voice that wasn't even his real accent, that let him type, at his slowest, a painful few words a minute, became so tied to who he was that changing it would have felt like changing himself. He kept it till the day he died. Somewhere in all of this, Hawking became one of the most famous scientists on the planet. He wrote a book about the origin of the entire universe, and it sold over 10 million copies. And his own joke about it, he was pretty sure most people who bought it never actually finished it. Be honest. Have you? Okay. But I want to be honest with you here too, because it's not all triumph over adversity. At his slowest, entire conversations, entire scientific arguments, could take painful minutes to spell out, one word at a time, while everyone just waited. His first marriage was to the woman who'd cared for him since before he was even diagnosed. It lasted 25 years, and it ended, worn down, partly, by the sheer weight of that caregiving. He remarried, one of his nurses. That one ended too, amid allegations of mistreatment that were investigated but never formally pursued. Here's a fun one though. Hawking once made an actual bet with another physicist, like an actual real-world bar bet. The question, do black holes destroy information forever or not? Years go by, and Hawking, publicly, in front of the entire physics world, admitted he was wrong, rewrote his own theory rather than just quietly letting it slide. Near the end, someone asked him what he thought about most, and his answer says everything about how he lived, that however hard life gets, there's always something you can still do, still succeed at, and that while there's life, there is hope. He was given 2 years. He used the other 53 to rewrite how we understand